mind. Thinking all the little thoughts and memories that we find. So just take some time to just realize we can stop and make up the past, and we'll make some time to just sit around and forget all that we had. If you want to, we can just stay here. We can just stay here till we die. If you want to, we can still leave here. We can still leave here with our. Take me on a journey through that beautiful mind. Make me wanna give it up and give you all of my time. So just take a look at this photograph that I keep in the back of my head, and we'll take some time to just realize it won't end until we're dead. If you want to, we can just stay here. We can just stay here till we die. If you want to, we can still leave here. We can still leave here with our life. Oh, 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 oh. If you want to, we can just stay here. We can just stay here till we die. If you want to, we can still leave here. We can still leave here with our lives. Oh, 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 oh. Ah, ooh, oh, oh, oh. Lately, I've been getting lost in the city in your mind.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Thirsty Thursday podcast.
Hey there.
Eric, what number?
I believe it's 91.
91.
91.
It is 91, yeah. I just
Getting
looked.
there.
I had to look this time.
Creeping on that century mark, man.
Sorry we guys missed you guys last week. The stars just didn't align.
No, I won't lie. It's just it's tough. It's hard to put shit together.
Got us all depressed.
It is, yeah, exactly. It's hard to, like, we don't want to put out depressing podcast.
Look, I got to tell you, this is not going to be a depressing one.
And redundant too. I mean, that was my issue with it. I was like, there's nothing to talk about. It's the same thing we've been talking about the last month, and it's fucking hard to.
It's hard for everybody.
It is, and it sucks. But
We wanted to have something that was not revolving around coronavirus, right? We wanted to get away from that.
And then
I don't even think
we're talking about it. But
No, we're not going to talk about it at all.
No, we're not. No, we have a really good interview. We just interviewed Jasmine from Fractured, and that was a great interview.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had a good time. I mean, it's a long one too, so we're gonna keep it.
is literally one of my favorite interviews.
We're gonna keep it short-winded on this side of it, so you don't have to listen to much of
Oh shit.
us three.
Yeah, we're probably about ready for bed at this point.
Well, hey, I want to mention our sponsor here while we're thinking about it, Alpha Heating and Air. You can give Alpha Heating and Air a call for all your heating and air needs. I know it's starting to warm up out there finally.
It's that time of year.
It is that fucking time.
Finally, that time of year.
Oh,
So
today
they are running a $75 tune-up special. They'll come out. They don't even have to come in your house, and they can leave a filter for you to change inside of your house, and then they'll give you instructions. But they'll make sure your unit's working at your house. They also do new units. So if you're in the market for a new AC unit, which some people are every once in a while, you can give Alpha Heating Air a call at 316-765-4492.
And do not forget Norton's. They're still there.
they're still there.
They just had their NOR 20. It was virtual NOR 20,
Yep.
but
We will. I'm going to work on getting Dan on here. I didn't reach out to him, but I'm sure he will be on here probably next week. He's got to shoot him a message. I'm sure he will, and catch up with them guys and see how they're doing.
talk about some beer.
Talk
Hell
about
yeah.
some BS. Some BS.
Yeah. We love BS. Love BS. So let's get right into this interview, guys.
Yeah. So we talked to Jasmine Inns from Fractured. They just dropped a brand new single. Brand new. I mean, they're brand new.
They haven't even played a show yet.
Yep.
Nope.
So without further ado, we will play
Takeaway.
Takeaway. All right. I forgot the name of it. But, all right. Takeaway by Fractured.
Lying in this bed of pain, all these demons feel appease. Fight to release this fuck disease that carry on or be deceased. Want to take away the pain, screaming to the sky for relief that never comes, for these tears that have run dry again. As we fight so hard to survive through the pain and through the sorrow, from this brain that feels so hollow, the fall of its last thoughts to follow. Terrified of what's behind these eyes and looks so dead inside. Can't face the fear that can't divide this empty shell you lay inside. Won't you take away the pain, screaming to the sky for relief that never comes, for these tears that have run dry again. Why won't you take it away? Take it all away. Take it all away.
right, so we are sitting here with Jasmine Inns. What's up?
You know, just hanging out with my wine and more wine and wine.
Is that red wine?
It is. I'm not a pussy, all right?
Yeah.
Drink white
Love
wine.
it. I'm with you. I don't drink that white wine pussy shit.
I can't drink. I cannot drink white wine. I will drink red wine, and I usually
White wine will get you all kind of white girl faded too.
I'll do it.
It's like a sugar crash. So you get like that sugar rush from like Moscato's, and you're like just jacked up on sugar and like mildly inebriated after you drink a whole bottle, and then you crash because you just have
And then you act like Karen.
Yeah. Exactly.
Damn it.
So what is it that you are drinking there?
I'm drinking a port right now.
Oh God, port. That's so good.
I know. I actually, Buana drinks a lot of ports and sweetbreads, and this port is like 18% alcohol, which is like high for a wine. And I normally drink like Merlots, so this is a lot sweeter than I'm used to, but it's actually pretty good. So we'll take it.
Yeah.
Z.
I love a good Merlot, and I love a good a cab. God,
I'm not
a
huge
Cabernet Sauvignon
cab.
with a steak.
Not a huge cab fan, but I do love like Malbecs.
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
Them blends are good. You know, they just kind of blend everything.
Yeah, the red blends are really good. You kind of get hints of everything. You know, you might have a Malbec or a cab blend that you're kind of getting hints of both of the flavors there. But yeah, man, I'm a huge red wine fan. Love it.
There's this new thing that's happening that I've become a little obsessed with. Is there are different companies that are starting to age their red wines in like rum barrels and like whiskey barrels.
Yeah. 19 Crimes. I don't know if you've had that.
Yeah, they have two different ones that are done in rum barrels and one in whiskey. And then there's one that's from Robert Mondavi. That's a red blend.
Oh, yeah, Mondavi's awesome.
Oh my God. It's so good.
Damn
Yeah,
it! I want to have some wine right now.
I went into the liquor store and I just grabbed a bottle of red wine one day at like 19 Crimes. It just looked cool, the label on it. So figured I'd try it, and yeah, now I'm kind of hooked on that stuff. So
It's
and
real.
then the one aged in rum barrels is
Mhm.
fantastic.
That's probably my favorite 19 Crimes wine, actually, is that one.
What
and
what is it? Banished or something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah. And it's like only like a $9 wine too, which is low. So
Oh, yeah.
Right up my alley.
yeah, right. I'm like a Crown Royal drinker, so for me $9 is like cheap as fuck. That's
Oh
like,
yeah, 'cause, one bottle of wine gets me like so far
Right
out
there, right where you need to be.
for $9. I'm on board.
It's like they measured it out perfectly for how you need to.
Yeah, they did. They did. And no, and it's not perfectly for anybody.
No, for
It's
me
perfectly
it is.
for the experienced drinker.
yeah. Okay,
Bottle
so
of
yeah,
wine.
friends that like don't drink a whole lot or haven't been drinking for long hate red wine, and I'm just like, but it's the best. And it's like, where is that the alcoholic in me talking?
No,
It's really
it
special.
is the best.
Because I feel like only people drinking like a long time and need more go to like the red wine section. I don't know. And Italians.
Right.
Yeah. There could be some truth to that. We don't know.
Tannins, man. Tannins.
Well, we do appreciate your great taste in wine.
Yeah,
We
we
also
don't often talk about wine on here.
Yeah, we haven't done that for a little bit.
Like 4 weeks ago, I was just hammered on wine on here. so
Wine drunk, man.
So
Yeah.
different.
It's a different drunk.
it is.
It's a
Different
warmth.
hangover
Compassionate.
too.
It's a warmth.
The face turns all fucking red.
Yeah, it is. It is a war. That's why I said it's more compassionate.
It's very warming to the heart, the soul, the face.
It's probably fucking healthier for you too, really.
Actually,
Yeah.
red wine is actually a glass a day. They say is good for your heart.
A glass. Yeah, but see, that's the problem is
Not- not 12 glasses.
That's one.
Just get a bigger glass, Derek.
How good? Yeah, right. How good is a bottle of wine a day?
Oh god, they have those glasses that hold like the entire bottle of wine.
Right, right.
Glass. And I was like, then why not just drink out of the bottle? That's just a waste of glass.
Right? You got to wash it and shit.
Because you'd look like a hobo if you drank it out of the bottle.
That's what I do.
Get the brown sack and
See,
I drink out of a bottle. I drink out of a bottle.
see, no, I come from the country, so when I hang out with people, I can't drink out of a wine glass.
yeah, we don't bring cups, dude. We just pull bottles and shit.
Whip it out, you know.
I mean, I'm either just chugging out of the
Take a
bottle or
pull. You're next.
pouring it in a solo cup. Like,
Yeah, I know. I mean,
I get so much shit if I'm drinking out of a wine glass. You know, it's.
But do you waft it when you pour it in the red solo cup? Do you put it up your
we're
nose?
talking
No.
about the keynotes and the woody aftertaste.
Ooh, it's so
Yeah.
earthy.
Your plastic cup.
See, I've been at tables whenever they pour a little bit out for you, and you're supposed to
You're
sniff
supposed to like
it,
swirl it and look
Spit
at
it out.
spit it out. I didn't do that. I don't do that.
Oh, why
You're
would
like,
you-
hey, good shot. Thanks, buddy.
why spit it back out? Like,
I'm not
why?
that proper.
Pretty
It tastes good. It tastes good. Like,
But isn't it improper to spit something back out of your mouth? Like
Right,
that goes against everything I was raised as a
That's
child.
disgusting.
That's how you get the
How
Rona.
dare you?
yeah.
Oh my God,
Like
you
I
brought
said,
up
where I
worms.
come from, if you spit out booze, then you get smacked for it.
We don't waste alcohol here.
No, absolutely not.
Mm.
So,
So yeah, hey,
Cheers.
I wanna-
let's reel this all back in.
Okay.
no,
We're sitting here with Jasmine Inns.
I want to congratulate you and Buana on your engagement.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, look at that.
Rain the other day, it's
Sparkling.
quite the
It's so
rock.
pretty. Thank you. Yeah, it's my temporary engagement ring because my real engagement ring is stuck in customs
Oh shit!
because of this.
Where the hell's it coming from? South Africa?
Israel?
Ooh.
Real? Is there diamond? Oh, there is a huge diamond
Well,
trade in Israel.
Yeah, so the sucker.
Damn
Wow.
fancy pants
Must
over there
be a
drinking wine. You
hell
got
of
your
a
ring
rock.
coming from Israel. Fuck.
I've got my current engagement ring that will change, and I'll just move it to this hand and put it on my middle nub. It'll be fine.
Right.
It'll be all right.
There you go.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Just like two opals, one on each.
So we
hand.
we started this we started this podcast, and we didn't talk about your project and what you've got
Mhm.
going on. So tell us a little bit about what you've got going on musically, and the track you just sent us.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's the reason I'm here. So we should probably talk about that a little bit. We're just shooting the shit, right?
Right.
So yeah. So after I left Leitner, I decided to form a new band that I put together, which was a really interesting and weird kind of process. But it was great because I got to kind of handpick who I wanted, and like I picked certain genres out of everything. Like I got somebody from this genre, somebody from that genre, somebody from that genre, and kind of like put it together to get my ideal sound, and that became Fractvred. My fellow bandmates are Alex Anthemides, Nathan Smith, and Aaron Schaff, who was actually the drummer in my last band. So yeah, so
And that
we were
was
like,
Leitner?
that was from Leitner. Yeah, that was when I was in Leitner. And he's actually one of my really good friends. So like I wasn't gonna go without him. And he's an incredible drummer. Like all of my guys are very talented. Yeah, not to toot my own horn, but like toot toot. And so
Toot away.
toot toot. So I ended up with this really awesome, like talented group of guys. And I don't know, I got really lucky. I think that I happened when I was in Leitner to form these connections with people I didn't know. It's like Alex goes to tons of shows. Like anybody who goes to shows in Wichita knows who Alex is, because Alex is at every fucking show that there ever has been in the Wichita scene. Like he's everywhere. He's just a big Greek dude, and you can't ignore him. And he's everywhere. And he's the nicest dude ever. And you just love him, and you can't help it. And so I didn't even know he played guitar. Had no idea. None. He doesn't talk about it. He hasn't been in any bands other than this one, and I think he did one other like way back when. And he was like, "Hey, you looking for a guitar player?" Just like casually. And he's got this incredible, like, soulful, industrial style. And so I grabbed him. And then I met Nathan through John Dornbos, which everyone knows John
From
Dornbos.
Yellow King.
Oh yeah.
Everyone knows John.
Oh yeah.
So,
From
Nathan,
Yellow King, right?
Right.
yeah, formerly of
Yeah.
like Killing Katie
Killing
and Judgment
Katie
Maker and
yeah.
all
Oh
these
yeah, Killing Kate. Are they no longer together?
Their last show was actually my birthday party last year.
God, they were awesome.
They were really good, yeah. But I
Yeah.
think I'm not going to speak on why that happened because I don't really know all the details or anything, and it's his place. But yeah, that was their last show. I remember he agreed to do that last show for me, which was really awesome of him. Wonderful dude, John, and they were really awesome live. But sometimes I think you just have to pick a band, and I don't know.
Right.
But Yellow King's amazing.
Oh yeah.
And-
Yeah, and I sorry not to distract you. Yeah.
No, you're fine. No, and I love Yellow King. Like you will. I love industrial music, so Yellow King is like right up my alley. Like it's 100% like where I levitate. And the costumes, and I'm huge on costumes, and they're big on costumes.
Oh
like,
yeah. Their makeup. Yeah, John's
Yeah.
makeup is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I'm a chubby guy, and that would just sweat right off me. I think. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know how makeup works though.
Stage with, like their makeup like melted off of their faces because what they use is water activated paints, so you start sweating,
Oh yeah.
and that's gonna come off.
It'd be coming off
And
before I
it
ever
just
even went on
looks
stage.
more. It just looks more rock and roll when it
Yeah.
starts.
I
you just-
did,
oh yeah.
It's like Kiss, like
yeah. No, but see,
Yeah.
Kiss
Well-
looks like grease paints though, which is even worse. Grease
oh really?
paint smear. They don't go anywhere. They just like all of a sudden you've got your eye over here. And you don't know.
Well, I'm kind of, I don't know how to put this, shy to admit, but I used to wear eyeliner on stage.
No shame.
And then it would just like run down my face, by the end of the night.
Well,
See,
now
we-
I have waterproof eyeliner that wouldn't budge.
me and
I
Eric
like
are
it
in
that
we're in a country band, so I don't know how makeup.
I know, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
secretly,
I
I,
was in a,
kind of want
I
to put
was
on
in
some
a metal
face
band.
paint and go out there.
You
dude.
might get taken out back and beat up if I can show.
Oh God, I could tell you guys some stories about some stupid shit.
I
That
don't
did
like
back
the
then.
boys. I can just see it now.
No, but it looks so fucking cool that like
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and you're looking at something like that on stage, and it does bring a whole different feeling and aesthetic.
see, I
To
could
me, it
never
brings
pull it off.
energy. It brings energy to me. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
does.
like, oh man,
it
this-
brings a little shock value.
It's like
is what it is.
It's an entertainment. It's part of the entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the beauty of what I've built here is I really wanted to do. When I was in Lightner, I already did big makeup, big costumes, like crazy. Like I've done looks where my whole face is painted. I've done galaxies down the side of my face and down my shoulder into my mohawk. Like I've done huge looks, but I was the only one in my band that did that. And I think that I became this like spectacle, but the rest of my band didn't. And that was kind of like a frustrating thing about being in that band was I wish that I had been able to give more of that kind of shock factor and that performance of like the more theatrical performance, like a big over the top performance. And that's something I have found with these new guys is that they all want to contribute and be a part of something bigger. Like we've already talked about doing costumes and like doing theme nights and like Nate wears guy liner, like the pictures we released. Nate's got his guy liner on, and it's so funny. One of us
Guy liner.
guy liner, yeah. He had his guy liner.
Oh,
on.
that's what I did, I guess.
Yeah, guy liner. The cup,
I called that.
it's like this like dark. It looks really good. It looked really good on him though. And Juana was like, "I'm not gonna lie, this is doing it for me." And Nate Liner's doing it.
No, but over the top is good. That's what you want. Like,
And especially, the type of music you guys are doing. I mean, I think that's what people are like. They're trying to find. They want to see some theatrical stuff. They want to see it more,
Yeah.
presented in a more sinister
Grandiose.
way.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and
And go ahead. Sorry.
no, you're fine. Keep talking.
I look back to when we were recording and we were out there trying to do stuff, and we actually created like a character that we went by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had different names for what we were on stage. You know, is that something you guys are trying to do? I mean, are you trying to stay with one type of thing, or like you said, you're going into different themes for different nights?
Right. So we're not going as far as stage names. Like that's not that's something that's become very common in the metal world. Like Raven
Mhm.
Black is an example of a band that they all have stage names. There's a couple bands like Sick and Beautiful and they've come through Wichita a couple times. What are they called? Babe. Do you remember that band with the chick who dresses all in white and she's like a Grim Reaper? They played with Yellow King. I can't think of their names, but like they all have like stage name, and they've gone as far as having comic book characters created for them, and they've got a comic series.
Right.
So I think everybody's looking for the next gimmick. Everybody's looking for the next thing that makes them different from everyone else. But what happens when that becomes the norm? When then do you have to go back to stripping it down? So I think that kind of keeping a balance of like, I want people to really know who I am as a person, like inside. And my guys are wanting to be more vulnerable as well. So I think that it's something we've decided to do to keep true to like who we are in every way as possible, other than doing over the top live performances. Because
so do you think that's
no,
sorry,
you're good.
go ahead.
No, finish.
Do you think that's kind of the trend in metal? That it's kind of gone, I don't know when it started, but it's kind of got more theatrical and more over the top, and it needs to be stripped back down to what it really is.
I think overall that yes, it has become a very gimmicky genre. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I think that everybody followed this because that's what was selling. So like bands like Iceland Kills and like Sick and Beautiful and In This Moment and these bands that are all of a sudden making it big, like Slipknot did it, and it's these bands that were like selling huge are these bands that have followed this gimmick of, I think, going more theatrical and making it this bigger, badder thing. And so people want to do that to make money, but I think it's become too much. Whereas be bands on both sides. There shouldn't just be bands that are like that. Like I think that you have to also realize that what metal's about is about like being raw and being real. And at what point do you step too far away from that?
I think that goes for, I know in the country genre like we're in, I think it goes that way too. People try to put on an act. You want to be country and you try so fucking hard to act country and
Portray that, yeah.
So it's kind of, over the last 6-7 years, country has gotten so poppy and, just acting like everybody acts like a country boy going to the river, right? Sitting on a tailgate, all this shit. Now it's starting to kind of float back and, now you want your genuine thing, so that gimmick, I get what you're saying. That gimmick is, it gets old, I think God, I lost my train of thought, but
no, I get what you're saying completely.
That genuine, it's that genuine, it's just lost there, when you start acting like somebody on stage and
you stop making it about the music.
Yeah, exactly. That's your words stop being so true. You start separating yourself from the words and
right. And then there are bands that like Yellow King who I feel like they've got a really good balance, a healthy balance of just being exactly who they are, but also being theatrical. And I love that about them because these are really amazing, down-to-earth people who just love to put on a show and love to have a blast. It's not about this gimmick and making money for them. It's about the music and the show and the fun. It's not, but I think that's what it has become, is it's stopped being about the music. It started being about money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
when
that's
you,
the problem.
yeah, and you brought up Slipknot, you know, and I remember seeing them in the parking lot of the Kansas Coliseum back before they were famous on the second stage, you know, all dressed in the orange jumpsuits and the thing about them that I remember, because I watched them live on the second stage and I was like, what was that, the Ozfest? Isn't that what it was called back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Yep.
Their music was undeniable. I mean, they were just, I was like, whoa, what the hell's going on over here? You know, do you think that that's what it needs to get back to is, you know, the music needs to be first. Then you talk about your theatrical or your costumes or what it may be. But yeah, that music needs to be just on point before you start talking.
It needs to be raw. I mean, that's what everybody gravitates toward. That's what,
dude,
the crowd
that
you're listening.
Slipknot show, I will never forget it. They came out of nowhere. They had kegs up on the stage. They're coming with baseball bats and smacking them out. You know, it was nuts. I was like, holy shit, who the fuck is this?
Yes, I think in an effort to be individual, everybody's become cookie cutter, and that's what's sad about it. And it is. I think that it does need to be about the music, and it honestly really bothers me when bands gain recognition that really just aren't that talented, that because they had the right connections or they had the right amount of money or they had this or they had that, all of a sudden they're doing well, when there are truly talented bands out there that aren't getting recognized because they don't have enough money or they don't have a big enough this or they don't have enough stage presence, or they don't, you know, and
every band in Wichita.
Yeah, money. That's the big thing. You know,
it is a battle, and I have never seen so much untapped potential as the Wichita music scene.
It
Holy
is
crap! And I lived in Middle Georgia, which is literally the largest garage band state in the entire country, and I didn't see as much musical potential there as I see here. And I think it's just that we don't have the community. Until recently, we didn't have the community. We didn't have the venues. We didn't have enough people trying. We didn't have enough people that knew what they were doing. It was just a shit show. And all of a sudden, I think it's starting to blossom into something more, which is amazing.
Well, I think, and I say it almost every interview, is that no band is boxed into one genre. You know, like it's just it's so diverse. You know, we're our band's on a bill with Zombie Drive-In and Ghost Town Strays and Dusty Grant. And then ourselves. I mean, we're a country band with acoustic rock and then surf rock and metal, you know.
Right.
But I think that's what's great about the Wichita scene is the crowd they like good music, you know.
They actually want that.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
They prefer that. They prefer not to just be boxed in. They, you know, and I think it goes back to, you know, our generation and our upbringing and the different kinds of music that were available in, you know, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you know, where there was so much diversity and pop music was so diverse, you know, and I think that Wichita is more accepting to that kind of cross genre kind of show, where other places might not be. You know, you go to Austin or something like that, you know, they're expecting what they expect in a show, whereas Wichita, you know, it's more of a community.
We're here to fucking party, man.
Where it's more, you know, all those bands know each other. They all know each other and they're all friends.
Yeah. And that's what's beautiful about it is the scene here is genuinely a family, and that's so unique to what I've experienced before. I think part of it, honestly, is that here there's not so much of a pretense of music snob. What I've found in other areas of the country where I've lived, because I've lived all over the place, so it's kind of like I've seen so many different cultures and everything around our country. And here it's very unique in the way that like the whole concept of music snob is just kind of few and far between. Whereas going to shows down south, especially, if you like some other type of music, you were like dead to these people. Like you didn't belong there if you weren't like ride or die with that genre. And that's freaking ridiculous. Like, come on. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like here that pretense, that fakeness is just not there.
So you're referring to music snob. Are you talking about somebody that is only interested in one genre? Or are you talking about somebody that's just a pretentious prick?
Both. I mean, both. I wouldn't say they're mutually exclusive, but I mean, like music snobs that like only like things that aren't popular, or only like things that are this, or only like things that are that, or I only like this band and anyone who sounds like these guys. And it's like, come on, like get some diversity, shake some shit off. Like, and a lot of these people like more genres of music than that, but they think they're cool by like being like, oh, this is the only type of genre I listen to. And I'm like,
I don't know how anybody can say that. I just don't understand that, Good music is good music.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the heart of it. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand. I only listen to metal. I only listen to country. I only listen to hip hop. I don't get it.
I mean, I'm sure that's around Wichita, but I don't see it. I mean, I like you said, Jasmine, it's a big family. I mean, everybody just shows up to everybody's shows. I wish we'd get more of the public to join in on that.
Yeah.
But, bands are very supportive of other bands, regardless genre. If anything, everybody supports each other. I mean, I think that's the foundation that's going to make this scene
what holds
great.
it up, and that's what builds it up.
I think it's survived for sure, because a lot of local scenes die just due to the fact that the bands aren't supporting each other. Like, if we're not going to support each other, who is?
Right.
Because
and this is something that I regret not asking Buana, because she was around and she was active when I was active in the scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, babe, here.
Impromptu. We're going to get her ass on here.
Heck yeah. We got Buana twice. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm glad to have you back.
Good to see you, man.
This two shows in a row.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you. Sorry.
I'm stalking your ass. I was creeping over there just waiting. Just
plotting.
Say the word.
So I had wanted to ask you a question that I'd forgotten to ask you last week. And that was back like 2008-ish. It was just it seems like it was a very you know what I'm talking about. Back in the Lizard Lounge days. It just seemed like it was a much more competitive cutthroat type of market as far as between bands. And now it's just so supportive and so community oriented. What has changed? I mean, what has shifted that whole mindset between musicians, that they're not competing with each other, they're in this together as a scene?
I think people got tired of failing, honestly. I mean, I'm just being honest. All the people
you're right.
The bands that I still see around that lasted a long time are the ones that were really unified, that worked with each other. The bands that were very competitive, that were at each other's shows talking shit about the bands that they were watching, they're no longer around. That's probably the biggest thing that I've noticed, anyways, is that all the bands that I knew back then that had life, that had long existence, is because they were, humble, level-headed, and they worked with each other and they were friends. And I absolutely remember it being super competitive. I talked with her about that before, when we first, started hanging out or messaging with each other about how competitive it was. And I used to be completely different. Like back then I was gunning for the person playing before me because they were, being an asshole, or because I wasn't good enough because I was a chick or whatever. So then there's, bands like King Shifter and Sprout. I've known him for years.
Yeah. Sprout's a fucking good dude.
Absolutely. And, there was a point in time when, I talked with him about some stuff that was going on as far as people, being super racist or being super sexist. And he was like, let me find out who was doing that. And I got
that big motherfucker.
He's a huge guy.
doing that.
So,
I would say that's probably, the difference is that people learned their lesson. People saw bands go up in flames because they were being conceited or arrogant or too good to help their fellow bands out. And
everybody has their own thoughts, and we have our own thoughts about certain bands and this and that in between genres or whoever, but you keep that amongst yourself and you still try to help them out,
Right. Don't make an ass out of yourself.
You try to build the scene, you try to build, whether or not they're a good musician, not whatever, you let them do their thing and live and die on their own, and not amongst ourselves, amongst the band. You don't try to break them down, you try to build everybody up as much as you can.
Why do it?
It doesn't accomplish anything.
Well, and realistically speaking, if you're the better band, then you're the better band. And now
everybody knows it,
Right.
You don't have to trash talk somebody, and somebody's attitude is going to speak for itself. Like if somebody else is acting pretentious and being shitty and not worth their time, they're not going to gain any fans. And if they don't gain any fans, then they're not going to watch it.
It's going to work itself out.
Absolutely. And there are certain bands that are, in my opinion, I'm not going to name names, but that are just maybe not as creative and not as unique as other bands, but they're such good people that you want to follow them anyway. And that's why I thoroughly maintain that half of the battle is people liking you. If people
connecting with
you
people,
as a person,
it's funny you say that, because our band is that way. We've not always, we're pretty green, we're pretty new, but people still get behind us, and but we're not assholes about it. We're not judging anybody. We just take the shows we can get, and we have fun, and we play to the best of our ability. And over the years, it's grown, and it's. That's what makes the scene great. Is I don't know how many bands we've listened to over the last 2 years, how much better they've gotten, and it's because everybody props everybody up and helps you out, and honesty is the big thing, you just
and you mentioned that you play to the best of your ability each time, and I think that's an interesting thing for you to say, because I've had so many experiences of people who won't really give a good show and won't play and have fun and do to the best of their ability if there's not a crowd. And I actually find that that's stupid as well, because if you impress other bands are going to request to put you on bills. So you got.
That's how it works.
That's exactly how it's worked with us. Is and it's hard sometimes when there's 4 people sitting out there. It's hard. You get pissed off. The littlest thing, the sound will piss you off, and then it's hard to. It's hard to stay in that zone, but you never know who's watching, and you just got to have fun with it. And like I said, I think, with our band, that's exactly what's happened is everybody in the scene has rallied around us, like, we're the new guys and we have fun.
Well, and likability is huge, and you guys are, really likable, and I just
But
think that
I
really
can-
it creates a good vibe, and people want to listen.
I can promise you it's fucking genuine. Everything that we do, every
Oh,
song
it
that we
is.
sing or write is genuine. It's genuine article. And I think that's what, going back to a previous conversation we had a little bit ago, and that's what it is. It's just when you're genuine, people gravitate towards you. And I mean,
Yeah.
when it's real,
And-
people fucking
and
like it.
People are gonna know it most of the time. People are gonna know if you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not all the
Yep.
time. There are exceptions to the rule, but genuine most of the time, people are gonna be able to tell if you're just like not a good person. And
Yep.
we haven't Fractured as a band hasn't gotten the what's the word I'm looking for? We haven't gotten the, oh my God, it's right there. Opportunity. Thank you. We haven't gotten the opportunity to play in these shows yet. Our first show was supposed to be May 1st, but since this, the COVID stuff has extended to May 4th, that's not going to happen now. But we haven't gotten the opportunity to play shows yet. But I think that's going to be one of the things for sure. And that's, regardless of musical talent, one thing I can say for us is we're like really awesome, like cool people that one thing we know we can do is we can party, like
Hell
we
yeah.
throw down and we have a fucking blast and it's going to be fun and we're just going to have fun doing what we love to do, and I think that I'm really excited. I'm itching to play shows. I haven't played a show that was actually my own band since August of last year. My last show with Lightner was August 31st. And then I did 2 shows with Rise Again where I helped out shortly after that. So it's been a while.
So how bad are you missing that stage?
Oh my God, it's so bad. Everyone's like, God, I'm missing performances so bad. And they haven't performed in like a month. And I'm like, ha, you're funny.
Right.
I wish it's been a month.
Yeah. Well, it's been a little bit longer than that for me. But,
Yeah.
Last time I saw Tim perform, it was at a rap show. Matter of fact,
oh yeah,
he performed with Live from the Basement hip hop
Yes, I
group at a Halloween party.
I sang
West Acres.
a chorus on a song. But yeah, I forgot about that. That
Kind of
was
funny.
last
You go from like a metal band to being in a rap group
Hip-hop.
all of a sudden.
I
Tim,
can do it all,
Yeah.
buddy.
You do
Do
what
it
you know,
all.
right? I mean, I rap
So-
in my music, so I can't say anything.
Right.
And I
Oh, yeah.
scream.
You got that little bit
And I
in there.
scream and rap at the same time.
So we
Yeah.
we wanted to thank Buana for coming in and sitting in for one more question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Love you guys.
In the kitchen.
But yeah, she brought up Sprout, and I've got a funny story to tell about Sprout. If you guys are so inclined.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing else to do,
Okay.
man. I'm in quarantine.
Okay.
I
So-
got nothing.
My nerve
So
business.
Time
the
to
first
kill,
time I
sir.
ever got into music, I was in my mid-20s. Okay. And
Jesus.
got
Going
into
way
this
back.
band, and we got together and we played. It was a metal band, and we thought we were pretty good. So we go up and we book a gig at the Silver Bullet in Wichita. Okay, it's on the east side over there by across the street from, not Lowe's, but Star Lumber, kind of over there, or on the west side. Sorry, across the street from Star Lumber on like by the mall.
West
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah, West Street. Yeah, I don't know what it's called now, but yeah, it was called the Silver Bullet. So we walk in there. We're like, yeah, we're some bad motherfuckers. We're about to blow this roof off this motherfucker. And we walk in, and they have a band play before us, and they were okay. And then Sprout's band played, and he comes out, and he's got we were the quote unquote headliner, and we sucked. Anyway, he comes out and he's got a Jamaican flag wrapped around his waist, and that's all he has on. You know, Sprout, he's a big old black dude. Just a big, tall motherfucker. Intimidating as fuck. Like 7 feet tall on stage, you know, or 8 feet tall on stage. And I'm like, oh my God.
The flag barely covers anything.
And I got to go on stage after that. And I was like, holy shit. So, you know, that happened. And I'm like, oh, God, great. This is how I'm inaugurated to fucking music in Wichita. This fucking Sprout with his wang fucking swinging in the wind.
Swinging in the Jamaican flag, just
He's got a Jamaican flag.
rushing around. Us.
So I seen him. I went to the Dusty Grant CD release show at the Elbow Room, and I haven't seen this guy forever. I haven't seen him for 20 years, whatever, you know, 15 years. And I said, hey, what's up, man? We've met before. He's all, yep, Creep Show. And I was like, are you kidding me? You remember that? And he remembered exactly what band I was in. And yeah, he's just a totally genuine dude. What a great dude. But yeah.
I wish I could remember every band.
Totally nude underneath and singing like, you know, Sprout does.
I've actually I don't think I've ever heard him. Ever.
You haven't?
Oh,
I
he's, yeah.
What
he's
is
good.
he in?
Oh,
What was that band called? Jeez.
King Shifter?
King Shifter Screaming.
No, it was before that. That.
Oh, I can't remember that one.
Is he anything?
He's solo.
Yeah.
Solo?
He's in that.
That's the old
Oh!
Come
Okay,
on.
shit. I was wrong. I know who he
You're
is.
fired.
Yeah. So he's. Yeah, that was my inauguration to the Wichita
Sorry.
Museum, was Sprout on stage. I'm like,
Isn't that
what am I supposed to do with that?
solo? That's so weird that both Sprout and Dusty were once like metal vocalists, and now they're solo.
Oh, and Sprout was the shit.
But they
He
do
was
it.
very-
They do it wonderfully. I mean, it
You'd like him. In metal, he sounds like the.
He's got this ridiculously
No.
powerful voice, man. Like,
So here's the
yeah,
thing.
he's amazing.
I have this thing for like
Telling you.
really soulful voices, and like there's that band Fire from the Gods, and their vocalist is like this like majorly attractive black guy, and he's got this beautiful voice, but we didn't really know that because in his first album he mostly screamed, and in their second album he comes out with these raps and this fucking singing and this screaming, and she was like, he kind of sounds like the guy from Fire of the Gods, and I was like, oh, then I need to get on this train. I need it.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't remember what that band was called. And you know what? He probably slapped me for not knowing that because he remembered the name of my band.
you son of a bitch.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? You remember that? And he's like, yeah, I remember everything, dude.
Juan, I can't remember it either, so he can slap both of you.
And I played with him too, and I can't remember. It was like one of my
You
first-
tell him
You're
that.
safe, Tim.
No, it's actually interesting because I found that here that actually there's like a higher number of African American metal musicians here than I've noticed anywhere else. Personally, like down south, you would think I would have noticed more, but down south, actually, I didn't notice that many African American people in metal bands. But here,
Mhm.
they're everywhere.
Huh.
And it's a little bit like, I don't know if that's just like maybe a cultural difference or.
Well, do you
But
think
it
it's
is.
either cultural or maybe a family thing that, maybe families that have had, musical training as far as instruments or even vocalists are more leaning towards, not so much the pop music or the hip hop music as far as,
Absolutely. Well, and it's interesting because, and it could be different now. Like if I went back now, it might be different. It could be an all over type of thing. It could just be that it's becoming more common for people to seek out more raw musical genres. Because, in my opinion, this is one of the most unfiltered genres you can be in. Like, if you really want a genre where you can say something and people aren't going to judge you for saying it, or they will, but people will still like you, like metal's the place to do that, I feel like, because metal's this untapped raw energy that you've got to have out, and if you don't let it out, you're gonna die. Like, that's how I view metal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because even so, I did classical music before I did this, and I never even considered pop an option. I never went country. I never went in that direction, and I think that's because I prefer expression over style, if that makes sense. But those two things go hand in hand if done correctly. And I feel like in metal, it's one of the few places where you're allowed to kind of do what you want and say what you want.
Torque. It was Torque.
Torque. That's
Torque. That's what it
I
was.
remember,
Yep.
yeah.
I messed
Yep.
up.
She just asked him.
Hey, Sprout.
Yeah.
Cheater.
What up, Sprout? You big Jamaican flag wearing motherfucker.
We got Sprout on the sidelines here.
God, that was so intimidating. I mean, to go up after that, are you kidding me?
No, I was trying to ask, like, how tall are you in reference to size difference?
Oh, I'm like 5'8", 5'9". He's a giant.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but to be fair,
he's
man,
a good.
I'm like
When
6
I
foot.
saw him in elbow room, I'm like this. I'm
To be
like looking
fair,
up.
that guy has to bend over to walk in the elbow room, right?
Yeah. I'm 6
Right.
foot. He still towers
Like
over me.
Steve?
So.
Is it like Steve Shotwell, where Steve has to bend everywhere he goes? Like, there's like
Hey, hey, his name is Sprout.
No, yeah, I know. Which honestly, when you hear the name Sprout, you think short, like you think tiny.
No.
Yeah, I can
He
see that.
sprouted way up.
Oh, also Zero Cell.
He was
Ben
in Zero.
Sprouting.
Zero Cell.
I've never heard of that.
I said Jamaican flag, eh? He said that was back in the Zero Cell days.
He said that he was.
Oh,
in Zero.
what? Yeah. So there were 0 to fix and 0 to sell. And he was in, that was what it was. But I played with him when he played with Torque as well. Yeah. So, yeah, I've played with Sprout multiple times.
You get around.
And he always fucking outclassed.
He gets around.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a whore.
He's just a little bit of a music whore, you know.
Yeah, he is. Band whore.
That's cool. I'm a little bit of a music whore. I can't say anything. Like, I'll take any bill you'll put me on. Like, I just want to play music, man. Like, that's all I want. I don't care who with. I don't care why. Just to do it.
That's about how I am too.
Yeah. I mean,
Especially now. I'm just ready to get on a stage.
I really hope that there's like an influx of attendances in our community after this.
So here's my theory on it is I think the way it's gonna go, like it's gonna step back up, and I don't think arena shows are gonna be possible for a while.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I think live show, like just bars, and it's gonna be packed. I hope. I mean, maybe that's my.
No, I think that's the hope, man. Is I think that everybody's hoping that's going to happen, and I think we're all hoping that it's going to bounce back well, especially with some of our best venues being closed down and whatnot for a long period of time. I think that if that's the hope, is that it is going to bounce back. And
I can tell you just the minute that I can get back out to the venues and start watching shows, playing shows, I'm going to be there. Like I'll probably hit nine different bars in a night.
For real, we're just like down.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we'll just party bus it. We'll have a band on the bus.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe it is that could be a bad idea though.
And very poorly. No, but so I was gonna mention. Oh my god. I was gonna mention that we did just release a single. And I know we kind of strayed like real far off topic, but I wanted to
Told you
bring
we
it back
fucking
around.
stray.
No, that's fine. I wanted to bring it back around before I forgot because I was forgetting and I was like, fuck, like I'm never going to talk about this.
Yeah, zero structure. That's
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. My brain works in a way that I have no structure anyways. So, I mean, it's a structure, but it's a fucked up, chaotic structure.
I get you.
It fits my brain. And so we did just release a single, literally, yesterday? Yesterday, called Takeaway. Or I guess this will be airing, Thursday?
Yep.
Okay, so it would have been Monday when this airs. And it's called Takeaway, and we released that, and it actually sounds kind of different from the other music that we wrote. Most of our songs are vastly different from each other, but we did release a song that I'm guessing is going to get played during this podcast, which is awesome.
Yep.
And it's a song about, it's actually about how I lost my faith, but I wrote it in a way that it's written to where it can be about having like lost faith in anything, really. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be like, I don't specifically call out like Christianity, if that makes sense. So I mean, that's what I wrote it about, and the guys worked really hard on it, and we did record it. Well, we recorded, mixed, and mastered with Bullet Ride Productions, but my vocals, or most of my vocals, were done at Magnitude instead. But they were mixed and mastered by Dustin. So, I mean, we're really proud of the track, and I hope that everyone likes it. Like, I think right now we've had a much bigger positive reaction than I expected, personally. Because I never got this much reaction out of anybody for my Lightner releases. And so to get this much of a reaction in 24 hours, or a little bit more than 24 hours, than I got on any song with Lightner is kind of like a huge deal for me. I'm pretty excited about it. So hopefully,
I think it sounded great.
No, you should be. That's a great track. I like as soon as it came across, I listened to it, loved it. I mean, it's heavy as fuck. I will tell you that.
Well, I kind of disagree. I think it's got more of a melodic kind of metal going on with it.
It does.
And I was
when you get your voice in there, and it all comes.
I was
together.
really interested in your vocal pattern, how you were going over the top of that, that first riff. It was kind of, it didn't follow the riff, and I really enjoy that as far as, vocal patterns and creating a sound,
Absolutely.
on top of you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I think it's really easy to get into writing a melody that fits your guitar riff, and it's really easy to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Yeah, because that way it's already laid out for you. Like that timing's laid out for you, that melody's already laid out for you, and all you have to do is go on top of it. But I don't like to do that for a lot of different reasons. First of all, I did opera for a long time, so what I'm used to is these big theatrical confrontations in music. So I'm not used to stuff that sounds exactly like what you're giving. There are times where you do that. I think it's appropriate on occasion, but also Fractvred is a very like rhythmically based band. So the showcase of the band is, I feel like, the rhythm section. Like Alex and I are both there, and we're both very great musicians, but I feel like the music itself is meant to be more groove based. We're basing it off of a groove pattern, because what I wanted from this band was I wanted people to fucking move.
Right.
Like, my biggest complaint when I was in Lightner was that nobody fucking moved. Everybody was just like standing and looking like
Staring and judging.
God dropped.
This is good. And you're standing there.
Yeah.
Rather than fucking just get to womping on it,
Exactly.
Get
And
to
it's
walking.
like, I finally, at my last show with Lightner, got to experience the crowd that was like all over the place. I remember Nathan, actually, my bass player, was at that show, And the finale that we did was My Pretty Nightmare. And 1 second, Nathan was in front of me. I look away for 2 seconds, and the man is being pushed into a table in the back of the elbow room. I don't even know how he got there. But that's what I want, though. I want that movement, and I want people to their heads to move, their bodies to move, and people to be able to give me more, like connect with me on a physical, mental, emotional level. And I feel like that's kind of what I was going for when I created this new project. And I think I got that. Like, I managed to grab that groove-based, music-based, but still heavy. So like it's heavy for people who don't listen to like metal.
Exactly.
It's still like connects to
Yeah, it's not heavy to me. It's not heavy to me.
Interesting, because when I was in Lightner, I used to say the same thing. I used to be like, we're not heavy. And that's how I feel about this band too. I'm like, we're not heavy.
Yes,
but that's because what we're comparing it to is we're comparing it to like death metal. So we're
Job for a
comparing-
cowboy or something like
I think that the prevalence of the clean vocals is what does it for me, and that just makes it, you know, new metal, or hard rock, or you know,
brings it back. It brings it back down. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it can appeal to more people that way.
But that's one song out of many, so keep that in mind. I do have songs where it's prominently screaming or rap.
Let me tell you this. I think that you may have the second best scream of all time.
What does that mean?
Right behind me.
I've never heard you scream, so I wouldn't know.
No shit. We gotta hear it.
Hey,
Tim,
you're right behind me.
Well, now you said that, we gotta fucking hear it. Let's hear the scream.
No, okay, I can't. No. I told you I have stage fright right at the beginning of this. I said it. I can't.
I think
Hey,
Tim's
I'm
in the
just
hot
bragging.
seat.
You're better than I am.
No, I mean, I do have stage fright though, so like I can't be put on the spot. Like people do it all the time.
I'm talking about pulling up some recorded shit.
Oh, I've got some stuff, but I'm not gonna do that unless you really want.
Right.
I can't do it. I haven't done that in 10
So
years.
no, we're not gonna have a screaming competition, is what you said? Is what you're saying here?
No, not live.
Oh, come on now.
Because I'm gonna sound like a dickhead.
You sound like a dickhead anyway.
I think you bring up like an interesting thing though. I'm a female screamer.
Yeah, but you really do bring the guttural thing of it though. It's really, you do a very good job. I didn't, so when I heard the scream, you know, the initial scream, I didn't like immediately think, oh, that's a female. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Hey,
and
that's a great scream.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment because I've come a long way in a very short amount of time. When I first started screaming, it was pathetic. You know, I think we're all like that at
I
first.
think we all were pathetic.
Yeah.
Starting out.
It's not an easy technique to learn. That shit is hard. So at this
I went to a damn vocal coach at Wichita State University.
Really? To learn that?
Yeah. Huh?
Oh, that's amazing though, because there are very few classical coaches that teach screaming.
She did though. She was really cool. I think her last name was McDonald.
That's cool though. I mean, good for you, dude, that you were able to find one. I learned through YouTube. I think I got very lucky actually that I am a classically trained vocalist, because without that knowledge of how my throat works, I don't think I would have been able to learn it as quickly as I did. Like, I think I would have hurt myself.
I think I pretty much had it down. She was more trying to help me with my clean vocals.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and it is a matter of, clean vocals can be really, really challenging. And singing is a full body exercise, and I think people don't realize just how much goes into clean singing.
Well, and the transition of it, you know, between clean and dirty.
Yeah. See, I've never had a whole lot of trouble with transitioning as much as I had trouble with stamina. Like, when I first started screaming, my stamina was just shit. like I didn't have, my vocal cords could only do it for so long before they were like, nope, we're done, can't do it. So when I was in Lightner, I had to be very specific about where I would scream so that way I could do it live. And so there wasn't a whole lot I was able to give with Lightner. But in this new band, I have been challenged in multiple ways, which started out because the first song I wrote with them is called The High. And I wrote it when initially we had a screamer in the band. He was a clean vocalist as well, but he was there mostly to scream so I wouldn't have to do as much. And
yeah, I remember you guys' stuff.
Yeah, so like with Fractured, I wanted a screamer and I had one, and with Lightner, Rocky doubled my screams, so it made it easier because Rocky screams and sings as well. So I was able to have that there. So that's what I was going for in this new band was, okay, I'm going to find myself a singer and a screamer so I can kind of have that backup. So I'm not trying to scream on my own. So the first song that I wrote was written with the idea of having someone who screamed far better than I did and with much more stamina. And so that song is pretty heavy on the screaming, and I've had no choice but to learn how to do that. I haven't really been given an option because we don't have a screamer anymore. It's just me. So that was a challenge that I didn't mean to set for myself, but I did. And as a result, it's made me a better screamer, which has been a super amazing accomplishment in my opinion. And I think anybody who's tried to scream understands how incredibly difficult it is and can appreciate.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. It's hard. And being a female screamer at that, I think is even more challenging because people automatically want to discredit you for being like a female metal.
And they don't, like you said, they want to discredit you because they don't think it's evil enough or it's just high pitched shrill, you know what I mean? But I think that what you've done is kind of gone in between that. It reminds me, like I said, a lot of what I did, Yeah.
So I do a lot of highs and mids. I don't have a whole lot of low in me, but that's because I'm a soprano. So my lows are basically what you hear. The lows in Takeaway are pretty low for me, which is like a mid for most people.
Yeah.
The lows where I do low screams is mostly at the end of the song. So it is kind of, I think, it was challenging, but it's definitely something that I've grown into. And, I do think the shrill sound actually is more hardcore though, because it's like a piercing, like angry, high-pitched tone. And not very many people have high screams. Like that's what most people don't realize is mids and lows are more common than highs are. And it's incredibly difficult to do a high scream. And so, I think that it's been discredited because it sounds girly, but it's also incredibly difficult. So I try to give myself the pats on my back where I can, because I know I'm going to get knocked down at another phase. It is hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very, and I speak for experience. I've been in the recording studio. Most of my experience in recording studio is in a metal band. So. Right. Yeah, I get it.
I hate screaming in studio. I hate it. I'll scream live all damn day, but I don't like to scream in studio.
Right. There's nothing like those stage monitors to get a good feel of what you sound like.
Well, and I think
those studio monitors with your earphones in, it just sounds ridiculous.
You're like, that's what I sound like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what
you're like, damn it, dude. I don't like, sometimes you don't like it. You're like,
what the hell? And then they play it back for you and you're like, oh, that sounds way better than it sounded in my ear, The
first time I screamed in studio, I was like, there's no way that's what I sound like. That's terrible. No. I was like, that's awful.
Okay, so I've got it pulled up. My first ever time in the studio.
Oh my God.
The first scream ever recorded.
Do it.
Will this play live, Eric?
Yeah, it should.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, wait. It's right in the middle of the song. Okay, I started it over. Or I tried to, anyway. Come on, with this thing.
Those difficulties.
Turn your volume up.
Turn my volume up.
Yeah.
My actual speaker volume or my
Yes.
like that?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. First scream ever recorded.
Okay.
Okay. There it is.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah, but yeah. I got a lot of what I was trying to do, which is kind of a I don't know angsty, frightful kind of scream with what you were doing.
Right. I think it's like a matter of rage. Like it's like
Yeah.
that like emotion that you've been keeping in for so fucking long that you're like ready to fucking burst. And
Yeah.
that's what I think I was trying to convey, especially with that first scream in the whole song.
Yeah.
It's just that long, like exasperated, like it needs to come out type, like fry scream. And I also do like quick rap screaming where I like do a lot of phrasing very quickly in succession. But like I think that definitely my focus is more in that like high to mid range for sure. And I do see like your screams sound very similar to mine. So I mean that's like a pretty
Yeah, it did remind me of me. And I was like, wow, that kind of sounds like me a little bit.
And that's like a huge compliment though, because I think like, and it's sad to say that because it
No,
isn't
it isn't.
well, I just mean that like I think women are trying so hard in the metal community to sound like the guys that they stop like owning that they're women. And so I think I've tried to find like a middle ground where I'm still able to be feminine and I'm still able to do what I do, but while still playing in the big leagues, And I know that I'm not like the best screamer that's ever like come about in existence. Like obviously not.
Second best.
So, right. I'm the second best
Second.
ever live and breathe. But I think I definitely have reached a point in my training where I have reached a point of receiving compliments like, oh, I didn't realize that was a girl, and it's I think reaching that point of my screams are so brutal that you don't even care that I'm female, like, because most people like, they're like,
and that's where I was with it. I didn't realize it. I had no idea. The emails come in. I mean, it doesn't say, hey, this is a female fronted band,
Yeah.
And then when we first listened to it, I wouldn't have, until you started singing clean, I wouldn't have known.
Right. No, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That makes me feel way better, honestly. And like, I'm like mildly insecure about my screams. So like for you to say that makes me feel like really good about myself. I'm like, yes, I'm the best.
Well, when it's coming from the best.
Well, really best that.
No, I'm really not. I am totally joking about that. There's much better guys in Wichita right now than me. I like to, make fun.
Mm-hmm. No, and there are some incredible screamers in Wichita. I was really surprised, actually. Like, who's that guy from Suffocate the Skies? I don't even know his name.
Oh, Tyler Davis.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
our buddy.
I've met him like 2 or 3 times, I think. And the first time I met him, I was super drunk, and we played a show with him. And I was like, "You, sir, are very attractive." And he was just like, "Oh, thanks." like completely sober, like watching this like white girl.
He's a pretty motherfucker, isn't he?
He's beautiful. it's like gross how pretty he is. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, there's got to be something wrong
I
with
went to school. I
Hey,
went to
I got-
school with
I-
that motherfucker. You know how hard that is.
Hey, while we're telling stories about people, it was a few years ago, but we live in the same town. Tyler and I and Derek and Eric's from the same town as well. But we were at the local watering hole, and there were some, fisticuffs that went down, and Tyler come and saved me from an imminent ass whipping. There was I guess a whatever MMA fighter that was at the bar that we kind of got into it with, and he kind of come and got in between us. And yeah, he's a good dude. Tyler's a good dude. Shout out to Suffocate the Skies.
Buff as fuck, dude.
Yeah, he's a rip motherfucker. He's
Yeah, I
just
wouldn't fuck with him.
And he's so much taller than the rest of his band. Like, I was looking at the pictures of them, like, all lined up together, and he is so much taller than everybody. He, like, sticks out like a sore thumb. But, I mean, like, a really attractive sore thumb. So it's, like, okay. My girlfriend is over here, but, like, she agrees. She thinks he's pretty, too, so it's fine.
I you know what? I'm a straight male, and I have to agree.
Sometimes you just gotta
Pretty
admit,
man.
pretty. Pretty is pretty.
It's like looking at a rose or something. You're like,
God damn it, you
Oh, what a
motherfucker.
delicate flower.
He's like the Wichita version of Jason Momoa, man. He just
right?
big, tall, long-haired motherfucker. Just
Yeah.
is what
not
we
a
got.
flaw, not a flaw to be seen. You're just like,
Wow.
oh, fuck, man.
And he drives the Subaru, just so you
He
know.
drives a Subaru.
Yes, he
Those
does.
things last forever.
All right, now you're getting a little creepy with it, Tim.
He knows everything. You know the license plate number?
Yeah, he's,
Yeah, right,
also,
yeah.
he's also a railroader, and I work at.
Yeah, you start
I
naming
work-
addresses and.
I work with
we're
with
gonna-
his company, so yeah,
You're telling everybody how to find him in the dead of night.
I can. Hey, I know all about it.
You know which window he sleeps by?
right.
He's that fucking pretty, okay?
No, he is that pretty. He is. Did you hear what we were talking about? Isn't he? He's pretty.
I mean, I intentionally get next to him in a mosh pit.
She said she intends next to him in a mosh pit.
That's funny shit.
Does he smell good? I was too drunk to notice.
That's just funny.
He had no scent.
And I'm into that.
Tyler, do you have it?
Yeah, right.
And you're into that?
Inquiring mind.
I don't have a. She actually told me one of my appealing qualities is that I don't really smell like anything.
That is an appealing quality.
I just kind of smell like nothing as opposed to bad.
Yeah, that's a great.
Hey,
Yeah, it's
Take
better
it.
smelling like shit. Hey.
So, I mean, like, he's probably going to listen to this and be like, what the fuck? These motherfuckers.
We will tag him in it and make sure he does listen to it.
Please make him
We
listen
start
to
talking about you at this
Like-
time, buddy.
Right, we'll,
Tag
we'll,
him
we'll,
at
we'll
the
tag you
exact
in it.
time point. Oh, that's great. And we'll tag Sprout where we talk about him. Like, all the stories we're sharing.
Fucking Jamaican flag wearing motherfucker.
Oh my god. Fucking-
Yeah,
Oh my
shit.
god, I've got like all these stories about Dusty, like Dusty's bitch ass, and he knows, and I call him all the time. No, it's funny because speaking of, my mind went to Dusty because you said Sprout. We were talking about Sprout, and then Dusty came to mind to explain my thought process. Because right now they like play together all the time or whatever. But no, Dusty Grant. Oh, Dusty Grant. Dusty Grant is probably one of the most
Dusty.
fun, ridiculous human beings I think I've ever met in my entire life. He'll be on stage and I'll be heckling him and I'll just be like, oh, you're just a terrible human being, really. And he was like, really, I'm just awful. Like, he'll just communicate with me and like ignore everyone else in the bar and heckle back.
I have never met somebody that's more hard on themselves than Dusty.
I know.
Like I remember like his album release at the Elbow Room, like sounded great. I don't know. To me, it sounded fucking great.
Yeah.
He comes back there and he's just pissed off, like legitimately
It's like, it was
pissed
horrible.
off. Sounded
Horrible.
like shit. Oh, I fucking suck. Just fuck this, fuck. It's like, well, you sounded good to me. Well, fuck it, I sounded like shit.
I actually
Throw
saw,
it
I
easy, dude.
actually saw Dusty break a string for the first time ever on stage for that guy. He handled it well. He changed his string, but he had that same attitude, like, fuck me, god damn it, you know?
Actually,
I think that's part of his ginger spirit. Like,
Well,
he's
I think that he had a couple. I don't know how to put it. Fans irritate him in the merch booth. They were trying to get.
oh
free.
yeah, I remember that.
I'm here to give you shit. You know. He was just,
Yeah, I remember
and he
that.
will say that too. He'll
Yeah.
say
Oh,
that.
he said it out loud.
Yeah, he'll tell you exactly what the fuck it is. Like, you can't be friends with him and have like thin skin. And I love that about him because I'm the same way. Like, I'm brutally honest. So like, when I want opinions from somebody that's just gonna tell it to me straight, I go to him and I go to John Dornbos. Like, those are the two people I go to when I want like genuine, unfiltered criticism. Because I know I'm gonna get like the truth from them, but they're not gonna be so mean about it that it's like you want to cry, you know?
Well, let me tell you something else. You know, when you send us something and it gets approved to go on the station, you're getting the same kind of approval, you know?
I'm glad, you know, that makes me very happy
Because we don't just put anything on the station, you know, and everything you've sent us, you know, with Lightner and with this new project with Fractured, it's, you know, automatically, you know, we listen to it and yep, that's good. And we pass it around and we go back and forth about it. And yeah, I mean, that was a no-brainer. All your stuff's always been a no-brainer. You know, I think we still have some Lightner in rotation.
oh, that's so sweet. No, and I honestly, like, I appreciate that because, like, I want people to, like, know about Lightner because I want people to know where we came from. You know, like, I want people to know where Aaron and I came from. I don't want it to just be, like, this musical thing that happened that just gets scrubbed off the map because it's over. Because that was as much a part of my musical journey as this is. And actually, it's how I got my start. So it's kind of like some of the rawest lyrically I've written. So really, I mean, I appreciate you guys keeping that on there. And honestly, like, I love this new stuff even more than I loved that. So I think that that's, you know, awesome that you can say genuinely, hey, we like this content that you're putting out that's straight from your heart, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like a really, like, deep thing that you talk about. It's deep.
Well, and that's what I was talking about earlier with just artists growing on the station over the last few years that we've been doing this, is just hearing artists evolve and get better and take stuff from your past and put it into what you're doing now. And
Absolutely.
so much, I mean, it's crazy just because when we got into this, we had zero idea how much was really out there. And, and so we've kind of grown with all the artists and the bands and just hearing you grow and hearing people like Dusty and Rise Again and everybody just grow. It's fun. I mean, it's great for us to hear, and I'm glad we're on that journey with you guys, you know, like.
Well, and I think like it's really awesome to have you guys around too, because this isn't a common thing to happen. In my experience, there aren't places like this. There aren't stations like this that are specifically geared towards local talent. And that is such a big deal that we have a place to be showcased that's just ours.
Yeah.
You know?
And we always, you know, we say this a lot, but we truly do believe this is not our station, but it is the scenes station. That, you know, if you're putting out good music and you want to be part of it, we're going to let you be part of it. We're going to let you be more than part of it. We're going to let you be involved in it. You know, if you want to get involved, then let us know. We will let you be involved. We will let you broadcast. We'll let you, you know, do shows, whatever, you know, put together playlists. That's always been our mission. This is not ours. It's everybody's.
Right. Absolutely. No, and that's incredible to like actually have that platform. Well, and to have it do well, I think also is awesome as well. And I think that's another thing that's unique to our scene is that we do support each other, and it is something that's doing well here because we support. Sorry, someone just tried to call me. Did you guys lose me for a second?
Yeah, we saw something a little glitch for a second, but you're back.
Sorry.
Good.
But I'm here, I promise. I don't know why they just called me. I don't even know who that is.
Fucking telemarketers.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Hey,
Asking about your
your
extended
car
warranty.
is due.
No,
I mean, it's like the 620 number, though. So that's local. Well, not
Yeah.
which local, but
Spam.
it's so
calling.
Our neck of the woods.
great. It's so great though to listen to everybody's music come together. I mean, there's people that didn't sound so great, and our band's one of them. That it's evolving, and I think that everybody has such a high standard. Like there's a bar now, and you have to, if you want to get into the Elbow Room and you want to get into Barleycorns and these places, you have to hold. You got to get there. You have to hold your music to a higher standard, and
absolutely.
and
Oh, no, and I agree with that. I can't think of a single act that I've seen at Elbow Room or Barleycorns that has had no musical ability. Like, I really can't. I think every band that I have seen at, like, those places and at, like, Shamrock has been,
another one,
Pretty
has
much
been
every venue.
quality. Yeah, and honestly, there are very few venues around here that I think will give a slot to just anybody. Like, you've got to, like, prove you make them some money. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
Or-
and I think every venue has its crowd, and you go to Mort's, and there's usually one or two people in there playing, but it's always very good music. Like
even though it's just different from what like I do, and that's
Right.
I think they do have their crowds and they know who they're catering to, and as long as you know where to look, like you can get in.
Yeah.
Like I said, good music is good music.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere in Wichita. I mean, it
I mean, you can
truly
go
is.
to a restaurant. You can go to Meddy's and catch Whitney Mead
Artichoke.
on a Tuesday night.
Uh-huh.
You know? I mean, and then we've talked about this here recently. We've got a major talent that's competing for American Idol right now from right here in Wichita, and he's probably going to win. He's probably going to win. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, and it isn't the first time that somebody from Kansas has won, though, right? It wasn't somebody else from here?
I don't know.
Or maybe he was from Oklahoma. I can't remember.
I think Eric's looking it up right now. I could see his wheels turning.
I feel like there was someone else that was from here, like, or maybe it was Kansas City.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean,
in the last year we had Enjoy, we had Arthur Gunn, and we had Michaela Brownlee, and that's just reason. And I mean, and Arthur Gunn and Michaela Brownlee are on American Idol. Well, Michaela got voted off, but I mean, this is. I mean, it's happening. Wichita's no bullshit right now. There's
Right.
a lot of talent.
we've talked about it before. I mean, how many other great singers could go and do that right now? And I even mentioned it. I said, "What about Moana?"
Oh no,
She could go do
Juana
that.
could go and she could rock one of these fucking things and she could win.
Yeah.
But Juana doesn't want to do that. And that's the interesting thing.
Well, and there's a whole nother side to that whole fucking thing.
Well, and she's so fucking humble, but she's a fucking powerhouse. I don't
She's
care what
been great since I first saw her on stage. I was like, that sucks that we
jaw
just
drop.
before
jaw-
that. Yeah.
Like, I know we're here to talk about my band, but like I always like toot her because like I can't even, I mean, before I even knew her personally, I'd seen her at Barleycorns when they were still acoustic, and she came off stage and I remember I was just like in awe of her fucking voice. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And she was up there with Lando from Ether, and they were doing a cover of that, of some song by Breaking Benjamin. I think it's Cold or whatever. And she came off stage. That was the only part of their set that I heard was that one cover. But I was just like, these two motherfuckers, you got this spicy boy over here, you got this chick over here, and they come together to represent the masses and sing like damn angels. And that was one of my first tastes of the Wichita scene, was these two powerhouse vocalists, which is like incredibly intimidating.
Oh, I know
Because
about
Lando's ridiculous. And then Juan is ridiculous, and I'm just like, well, this is where I end. Like, I can't compete here. Like,
That's the thing, though. That's what makes it so great, is that we're all put up against that, and that's the bar. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, that's
bar.
That's where you got to be. That's how good you got to be, and it makes everybody around them great.
Yeah,
know?
because they do hold us to, I think, a higher level. Like, I to name off the top of my head, like Buana, Lando, John, Bornvoss, Victoria, who's also in Yellow King, who does Audacious Pulse.
Yeah.
Like,
keyboard player.
Yeah, she's incredible. And then you've got, I can't think of her name, but the chick from Wabash and Lake.
Oh God, we're gonna have them on here.
Yeah, we actually next week,
later this week.
Next week we will be interviewing them.
Yeah, Wabash and Lake.
Absolutely beautiful voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
they just sent us some new stuff actually, and they just came out with a new song.
Yeah, the day before ours dropped.
Yeah, out of this world, man.
And her voice is just fucking phenomenal. And, you know, it's one of those things that it's like the female vocalists in this area, it's so surprising how many good ones there are, because I feel like it's very few and far between. But here, there's like this powerhouse female force, Ashley from Dreadstar Rising.
Yeah.
You know what? I was listening to yours, and then I listened to Wabash and Lake, and I had this thought in my head. I was like, man, maybe we need to just do this female an hour or something, you know.
So many wonderful female vocalists in the area, like Dreadstar Rising. She's
and not even metal vocalists. Just
it's not. I mean,
in general.
It's.
Do you think that Jenny Wood is kind of a trendsetter in that, you know?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I have no idea who that is.
Take her word for it.
Thank you, Alana. Yes,
right.
She's an inspiration to everybody in the city.
No, but who is she?
She's like an amazing vocalist. She's just one of the most wonderful musicians that's ever been.
Wonderful people. I mean, that lady
she was our first interview, I believe.
Yep, ever.
In the radio station, Jenny Wood. She's just a magnificent person, and she's been through a lot of shit here lately. She was almost killed in a car wreck, and you know, I'm not going to go into it, but there was a lot of tragic shit.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, well, so this kind of backs up what I'm thinking. I think we need to do a female hour or 2 hours.
Yeah, and I can give you so many names of just like wonderful female vocalists in the area, and like I know Juana knows a ton of people too. Like honestly, I think the heaviest female vocalist in our area is Ashley from Dreadstar, next to Victoria, who used to do metal. Have you heard Victoria scream from Yellow King?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Like,
it's good.
The balls on that chick. Like
she's hanging low.
She does. Raven, and I've never actually seen Raven live, so I don't know. I don't know Raven live, but so Raven's as heavy as Ashley is. Then okay. So
what's the name of their band?
Waking the Sleeper.
Yeah.
She's the singer for Waking the Sleeper? Yes. Oh, shit. I didn't know that. I've heard them. Okay. I've just never seen them live. Okay. Hey,
Yeah,
girl.
I've never caught them either.
No, that's awesome though. Good for. I mean, that's the point. Is we've got some female heavy hitters. I'd be down. I'd be down for that shit. Let's fucking do an
Well,
hour.
Hey,
Do it.
let's put it together. We'll let you guys host it.
There you go.
Boom. We got a
wanna host
show.
Hour show.
Let's do it.
No,
Okay, that's good. Whiskey, and I'm in.
but
Whiskey.
female or not, dude, there's a lot of voices. There's a lot of talent. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's fucking incredible around here. I mean,
But there is something to be said for we do face a little bit more of a challenge in regards to, and I know Buana has talked about how like it's easier now, so I feel really bad for what she had to deal with.
right.
Because I can tell you what I have dealt with just in the short span that I've been in the scene. Not so much here, not so much in Wichita, but in general, like when we've gone out of state, people are like blown away that I'm even a vocalist for a metal band, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like this is fucking.
No, but it fucking sticks out so much. I mean, whenever you get a track that comes across, and then you just hear you or Buana, I mean, it just.
Well,
Did you hear me talking about you?
I fucking love it. I love it. I love it.
I think that even back then, when we were in the scene, and I'd never heard Buana, and then they step up on stage, and I'm intrigued by that. I'm like, okay, so this.
Well, and that was back when
that
she
do
did
that.
like the full face paint, right? That was back when she
Right.
like.
No, she didn't have any face paint. What was it? Friday's Waiting or something.
Yeah.
That was at the end.
Yeah, but no, they didn't have any of that. But she just had this incredible, vocal range, and she's flawless. And then we seen her after that, and it's just flawless. She
Every fucking time.
doesn't make any mistakes.
When
Isn't
she's like chilling
ever-
here.
I'll tell you what.
And I'm just like, I can't deal with you. Like, I just can't. Like, and everybody wants us to do songs together, and it is something we want to do, but we never get around to it. So
We have no excuse to live together.
We live together, and this weekend even I messaged you. I think on like Thursday, and I was like, "Hey, babe, this weekend we should do a duet video." Never happened.
That must be kind of tough, both being metal singers and living together.
I'm less of a metal singer.
I wouldn't.
How do those
say
fights go
difficult.
down?
Yeah.
So, Juana, I wouldn't necessarily consider herself a metal singer. She's just a vocalist who happens to be in a metal band.
Yeah.
Whereas I consider myself a metal singer who also happens to have a classical backing. Like, I don't really.
I do get that from you too, as far as the classical backing. With like I was saying before, with your progressions on your vocals and not following the riff. You know what I mean? And kind of drifting off into some minors or something else.
I love a minor. I love a minor.
Right?
Oh God.
It's difficult to sing for me. Minors are trying to put yourself in that minor mindset. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing about minor. A minor mindset, in my opinion, is just a really morbid way to sing.
Right.
And I'm a very emo kid. So it's not difficult for me to be like, let's make this sound as haunting as possible.
Yeah.
Like, how do we make these people want to die inside? Yeah.
Right.
But to differentiate that, because you're listening to the riff and then you're singing in a minor, which is here, compared to the riff.
Yeah, and to make it sound good too is difficult. It's because it's one thing because you can do minors and you can do that stuff in combination with like a melodic riff, but that doesn't mean it's gonna sound good.
Right.
So I think it takes a very specific ear. I think the only reason I'm good at what I do is because I do have a classical ear. So what I'm used to is
That's what I was getting at.
rigorously and being like, and when I train for shows and when I train set lists, I do them how I would a musical. So I run them over and over and over and over and over again, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, over and over and over again. And it's all a cappella. So I'm keying into myself. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to sound like, regardless of what your riff is doing. And I think that gives me that edge.
So any and not excluding any genre, but do you have an influence that kind of helped you, create that minor tonality?
There are a couple people that like I would say directly influenced me. There are a lot of bands that I really like. One person that people say I sound like, which was unintentional, but I guess in a way she did kind of influence me, is Amy Lee.
Yeah.
Evanescence.
We got that too.
Yeah, I never really put it as me sounding like her until somebody pointed it out to me. I think that's only because she's got a classical backing too. I think
Yeah.
it's the reason that we sound similar, because we have very similar vowel shapes, which
You can
changes.
hear that operatic,
Yes, and she's
kind
a
of vocal.
classical pianist as well, so she's got the whole classical background. But like honestly, most people have never heard of Free Dominguez. Free Dominguez is the vocalist for Kidney Thieves. She was. Have you ever heard the Queen of the Damned soundtrack?
Yeah.
You know that
yeah.
song "I'm
I
Dead"?
have that soundtrack.
The only female on that soundtrack.
Oh yeah, it's fucking badass.
Yeah, so she's one of the reasons I even started doing metal, because she has a very bright, pretty voice, and she did industrial metal, which was I didn't even think was an option for me until I'd heard of her. The other one is I have some love and hate relationships with her, but Maria Brink from In This Moment.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
So In This Moment is probably one of the biggest female metal bands of all time. So if you ever get the chance, her old stuff is way better than her new stuff, in my opinion. And if you ever go, she used to scream in people's faces and like sweat all over people. She's got a very unique voice. But honestly, most of my writing style, I would actually compare to male vocalists, which is what's so weird about me, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
I've
hear-
got one song that sounds like Tatiana from Ginger, one song, but that's one song out of a whole shitload. So I wouldn't say she necessarily influences my writing style. But like Trent Reznor is a huge influence of mine. I love Nine Inch Nails. Maynard James Keenan from Tool and Pussifer and A Perfect Circle, love him. A Perfect Circle was a band that I was raised on. So, I kind of reached that point of like, I love his writing style. I love how he tells stories, not just with song, but with voice. And that's how Trent Reznor is as well. So I think with me, I think I take a lot of my backing vocally and lyrically from industrial bands. And I think that makes a huge difference in the way that I perform and in the way I write. Because it's not your stereotypical metal style.
No, and I did get that little bit of
me
industrial feel. Totally did.
Like Marilyn
And
Manson.
maybe it's the drums.
Drums, yes. So Aaron is like one of his favorite bands of all time is Slipknot. He loves Korn. He loves, A Perfect Circle and all these other bands that are a little bit more industrial. But Aaron's also really heavy. And that's one of the things people don't realize. He has peeled back a lot for Fractured. He's not going nearly as heavy as he normally would. Aaron is into like some heavy ass shit. Granted, that's not all he listens to. He's a very well-rounded metal drummer. He's very heavy on the toms, which I think changes his style a lot as well.
Right.
And I love that. I'm a toms junkie. Like, play toms, and I'm like in it. I think toms are sex, like pure sex. Is what toms are. And Aaron's very heavy on the toms, so I was all about that.
It is very tribal. I have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're talking about, the sex of it. It's really tribal and beating and,
Well, and Nathan plays bass like a second guitar player, which changes our sound astronomically as well.
Right.
So.
Yeah, well, we can't get enough of it. We can't wait for you guys to send us more.
We can't wait to record more after this.
And you guys need to get in there when all this shit is said and done. Shout out to our good buddy Jason Catlett over there.
And Dustin Ritter, man, that dude's been putting out some shit, man.
Yeah, and both of
stuff.
them. And I was I wasn't done, but you go ahead, Derek.
Yeah.
No, they and they work hand in hand. Dustin Ritter and Catlett, man.
Well, Dustin did do the majority of our tracking. I want to say that. So we tracked originally with Magnitude, but that is not the track we released.
Okay.
So I know we announced initially that we were going to be releasing our Magnitude track, but we didn't. We released our Bullet Ride track. So it's all Dustin except for my vocal tracking, which was done at Magnitude.
Right.
Yeah. So Dustin. So shout out to Jason and shout out to Dustin, who are both wonderful engineers.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful engineers. And we had a tough decision to make. We really did, because we recorded the same song at both studios, which is, I know, is like unheard of. And we got a little bit of
That's a little bit of money spent.
Well, yeah, but we felt like it was worth it to know where we wanted to track the album.
Right.
I mean, we go kind of through the same thing. It's more of a feel and more of a sound between studios, you know. I mean, it's and
well,
it is what it is.
And I think working with certain sound engineers as well, based off of who you are as people, makes a difference as well.
Oh, it does. Just like we were talking about.
Yeah, and I love Jason.
Being a personable, friendly person, as far as portraying yourself to a crowd, you know, it's the same thing when you're talking. It's just interpersonal relations.
Well, and like Jason's a wonderful dude. He's a good buddy, and we had a blast recording there. We really did. I have nothing negative to say about our experience with him at all. It just, we decided to go with the track from Bullet Ride. It was just more what we were looking for, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, absolutely not.
Well, it's your decision, you know.
Yeah, we just, I don't want to like knock anybody, because we really didn't have a bad experience. It was a hard decision, but we had,
you know, that goes into a lot of what goes on the station too. Is, you know, there's a handful of fucking studios out there, and we got good studios in Wichita, you know.
Well, and we used to record with Red Cat, with Leitner.
Oh, yeah. Red Cat's the shit.
I love Luke. I fucking love Luke.
We do too. We do.
I will never say a bad thing about Luke. I love that man. Like,
I wouldn't believe it if you said a bad thing about him. Luke's one of my favorite. Luke's one of my favorite dudes ever.
Luke's a dick.
He's
okay, that was wrong.
Sorry. I've had some beautiful heart-to-hearts with Luke on a very deep level. He's my dude. Like, I love Luke, and I will always love Luke. Like, and I think the only reason we didn't go to Luke is because we wanted to try something new. We wanted to give somebody else a shot. Because I think the only person Aaron's ever recorded with is Luke. And obviously he was the only person I had ever recorded with. So we wanted to try something new. And when we started working with Dustin, it just, like, he's a phenomenal engineer. I can't even, he's so fast.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal engineer, and he was a blast to work with. He was easy to work with, and I think that, like, when it came down to sound, it was just close to what we were looking for, and so that's what we went with.
But
you know,
those are good cards to have, and every artist vest, you know, in Wichita is, you got Bullet Ride, you have Magnitude, you have Red Cat. I mean, those are good cards to have.
Green Jeans, even. I mean,
yeah. Down here in Wellington, you have Carter Green at Green Jeans, and
who's the mate? Curtis Long. He's not he's from Oklahoma. Okay.
Dawson though.
Chris Dawson. Chris Dawson.
He's badass.
We're not familiar with him. We haven't got.
No, but I'll take Buona's word for it.
Have you guys heard of?
Have you heard of Saul?
Yeah.
He's the one that recorded Saul.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
With
but no, it all works together. You know, I mean, great artists, great producers, great studios, and that's, you know, goes back into what we've been talking about this whole time. Is
we always talk about how this scene, we really think it's about to burst. You know, we think.
I think it is too.
I mean, from pop to country to metal to rock to hip hop, everything is fucking primed to hit. Everything, all genres are all.
Matter of time.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, are there any more questions you guys have for me regarding
No,
the band?
I think what we want you to do is kind of talk to us about your websites, anywhere we can find your music, your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. Kind of let everybody know about that.
Yeah, so obviously we have our Facebook, which is Fractured, and we do spell it with a V, not a U, and we did that for legal purposes. We don't want somebody to come at us later on and be like, oh, our band was named Fractured first, and then, like, you know, try to come after us for money if this ever becomes more than it is. So we went with a V instead of U, but also I think it makes it easier for people to find us, to search it. So if you spell it Fractvred, that's us. And that's how you'll find us on Facebook. Our Instagram, that handle was already taken, so it's Fractured, what I just spelled, _band, and we're on Instagram. I haven't made a Twitter yet, but I promise you it will be coming. And it'll probably be the same handle, Fractured _band, unless it's already taken to be Fractured. Our YouTube is Fractured Band. Which our single is on every major streaming platform, including YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever, and you're basically your thing of choice. So, I mean, really, you can find us anywhere. Come find us. We don't have a website yet. We're in the process of getting our domain name and everything. So we should have that coming out pretty soon. And we have a Bandcamp. So it's fractured.bandcamp.com.
Awesome. Not only that, you can hear Fractured on ict-radio.com. They're in full rotation. So we also have a request function that you can go and request their music. So make sure you go utilize that tool and request Fractured. And yeah, check it out. It's a really great song. We can't wait to get more from them.
Thank you.
Really looking forward to it. Like I said, the second best scream in the history of Wichita. Right behind me.
We want to thank you and thank Juana. She's listening. I know she's listening.
Yeah.
She's popping her head
Thank
back in.
you for hopping in.
Good seeing you guys.
No, it was great talking to both of you. And we will catch up soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You guys stay safe.
You too. I have to pee so bad.
Going bed.
It's going on the podcast.
Leave it.
All right. That was Jasmine Inns from Fractured. Thank you so much to her for talking and filled up a lot of our podcast, which was great.
My God, it was the whole podcast.
Yeah, because we really don't have shit to talk about, like we said. So
You know, it was so much fun to talk to her and get her insight on, you know, not only the creative process, but, you know, recording and just the whole general music scene in Wichita.
yeah, no, it's great. There's a recurring theme in there. Oh, also, before I forget, thank you to Buana, the guest,
Oh yeah,
our guest interviewer.
it was fun to get her. I had forgotten to ask her a question, so it was fun to get her in there to ask that.
No, there's a recurring theme in every interview that we do, man, and it's that the scene is there. It's growing, and yeah, it's just it's a matter of bridging the gap between the general public and the band scene, the bands, you know.
Yep.
We talked to Nathan Snyder about this just a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
About just trying to get the general public interested, and we mentioned
To
it
realize what the hell is going on.
yeah, because and I think we mentioned it in the podcast as I think that the silver lining in this whole COVID ordeal is that arena shows, they're not going to happen for a while.
Yeah.
And people are going to want music, and there's better music locally than there is in arenas.
Yeah, and they might find, and the general public might find out that they've been missing out.
I hope so. I hope that the silver lining in this whole shitty ordeal is that people get back out and watch local fucking music, man. It's good. It's there's no need to pay $100+ to go to an arena when you can go pay $5-10.
And the drinks are cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the $4 beer.
Win-win.
The
Win-win.
damn place is nicer and cleaner, and
you can talk to the band,
and you can drive home with a good sense of yourself.
It's just a better time. I mean, trust me. We've all done both arena shows and bar shows are just funner. That's what I prefer. Yeah. That's where I'm at. That's where I have my good time. I get to see everybody that I haven't seen, and yeah, just ready for it. I'm ready for it to open back up.
It's coming soon, guys.
It is. I swear to God, you guys hold on. It's coming.
Yeah, and we're going to be right there. We're going to see all our favorites and hang out with all of our buddies.
These shows are going to be fucking bangers, dude. Every single one of them, man. I promise you.
Agree.
Yeah, no. So I guess since we talked enough during that interview, I think that we'll shut the fuck up and get off of here and
let's listen to some more music, and
we will we want to thank Alpha Heating and Air. We want to thank Norton's, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in.
We want to thank Jazz.
Yeah, Jasmine and Buana. I'm not going to forget Buana because
hell no.
She might actually come after us if we don't.
I really wanted to ask her that question, and I'm glad that we got to get her perspective on, that. And can't think.
No, that was a good interview. It was a fun interview, and I'm glad we got to do it. We will have Wabash and Lake, I think, on next week.
Yeah.
So we got see that, and that's another silver lining is everybody's got time now, so we get to fucking hang out with all the bands and shit around Wichita. So
hell yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, thank you to Jasmine, thank you to Buana, Alpha Heating and Air, Norton's. Thank all of you, and most of all, thanks to everybody that's listening.
Right.
Yeah.
Keeps listening. I still don't understand why you guys are, but
we love you guys.
You guys like it, and we love you for it. So
at some point soon, we'll be able to say go to shows, but we can't.
I know. Yeah.
But
go
if you listen to ICT radio, you suck.
But go support your live streams. That's the way we're doing it right now, and even bartenders too. At that, Daria, I still don't know how to say her fucking name. She served me a million beers, and anyway, they have their virtual tip jars up. Bands have their virtual tip jars up.
Yep.
Keep an eye out. Go buy merch. Just go spend a little money, man. Go $10. You might not think $10 goes a long ways, but it does. It absolutely helps out the bands, and go throw some money in some tip jars. And yeah. But anyway, I'm drunker than fuck, and I won't quit talking. So if I don't stop this train right now, it'll never end. So without further ado, we will play you some Easy Killer.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
You know you miss an Easy Killer.
You know we love that.
Love you guys.
Peace.
Later.